was scamming.
Welcome to Three Chicks in a Pod, and it is our 1 year anniversary. I am Megan Price, and then there is Jen Lewis next to me, and at the bottom we got Carrie Johnson. So excited to be doing this with you ladies for a year so far. Can you believe in 1 year we already have a spinoff? Like we're just so lucky to be able
And
to
we've been
have
copycatted
you. We
by a
have been
four-letter
copycatted.
network. I'm just saying, we're not going to do anything about it, but
Right.
props to
But,
us because we bomb.
So
Well, I
excited
mean, when you're
that
at the pinnacle of success, that means people will emulate what you do. So,
And now we have
Right.
Carrie with the windblown hair. I'm loving it. All
Pardon
right,
the breeze that comes through. Wow. So, yeah.
I feel like playing like a Poison song or, Def Leppard or something.
Please, like maybe
That's
pour some
funny.
sugar on me or something, because I may or may not have grown up
That's funny.
listening to that.
And so everybody that's watching, if you're commenting, if you're watching the show posted in like one of the groups or something like that, it doesn't show your name for some reason. So like if you're watching it in the Zip Off group or the Three Chicks Pod, it doesn't show your name when you comment. But if you go to one of our Facebook pages where we're live from, it'll show your name. But I'm going to show the comments real quick. If you want to chime in and tell us who's talking. Thank you so much for watching the show. We really appreciate it. Sorry, it's not saying your name, but like I said, if you go to our regular Facebook pages, it will definitely show who's commenting. We're so glad that you guys are watching the show and commenting and sharing. Like, can't believe we've been around for a year. So we have covered a lot in that year. And as you know, we like to do investigative type of topics a lot of times. We like to end the show usually on a happy topic, but we like to do something and delve in and usually do an investigative type of topic. But this week, all we're going to do is talk about all the things that we have already covered. So I remember when we first started, I know Title IX was a huge topic for us. Last year was the 50-year anniversary of Title IX. And for me, it was something that was semi-emotional, just being a student athlete and then specifically having to say and mention Title IX to my school so that we would have the same type of facilities that the guys baseball team did, because I was a part of the very first year in softball at Canyon High School. So it was an awesome thing for me, just to be able to cover it. And then whenever I got to interview Nancy Lieberman last year when she went to the Wings, and was a part of their Title IX celebration. And she has since then become a part of the organization with the Wings. So for me, that was huge. What were your ladies' thoughts on Title IX, our coverage of Title IX?
I loved our coverage. I'm going to let Carrie speak because Carrie did
No, go ahead, because I'm still sharing to groups. My computer was a little.
I loved our coverage personally. I especially love the fact that we went in depth on that it wasn't just about sports. And sports really didn't come into Title IX until 1991.
Right.
So, and that's what is, important, and that it came off of the Civil Rights Act. And it's just to make everything. And honestly, since we covered Title IX, I don't know if you ladies have realized this, I see so much more and more coverage of Title IX in the news.
Right.
And I just think that's so important. And I just think that, Title IX and its due process, everything it came about, all the people, the chicks comment with you. Thank you, Dom. I don't know. I loved it. I loved that it wasn't just us. I love that people were into it.
Right.
And I know the three of us all remember, like, when Title IX started acting sports. There was a lot of hoopla around it.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then even well into the 90s, well, cheerleading isn't a sport. Yeah, actually it is.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And even if you don't feel like it's a sport, Title IX covers more than just sports. So
exactly, it's education, it's workplace, it's everything.
I feel like I learned so much, just not only because like you, I thought it just applied for us athletes. And so for me, that was what I thought it was all about. And then when we did our coverage, I was like, oh my gosh, this encompasses so much more than just sports. And it's not just for women, it's for everybody. It's for everybody to be treated equally. And I learned a lot from our coverage.
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing even in the news right now, like in the last week or so, there's amendments trying to get added to
Right.
Title IX. So we're going to keep coming back because it's so important. It's a core topic. It involves everyone. Everyone either has a mom, a sister, a best friend, a loved one in some capacity that is female or falls under the Title IX canopy. And so it is really impactful to every person out there. And it's important that we be educated on it, including myself. I mean, I've learned so much about Title IX in the last 365 days.
And people and I was on another show one night and we were discussing Title IX, and one of our personal friend and friend of the show, Jay Nelson, and I were on the show together, and I was like, somebody kind of made a comment, and I was like, you get that there's two people on this panel right now that Title IX covers. I was like, no, either you're, part of certain communities and it covers you guys too. But,
Right.
It covers more than just, and that's what I loved. And they kind of shut up. I was like, yes, score. Great topic idea, Carrie.
I won one.
And then
Right.
Megan's been doing it for a month. I'm like, shucks.
And I love, right. No, I'm glad too, because you know what, when we started this, I knew that there were things that I wanted to talk about that I wasn't really able to talk about on other shows.
Mm-hmm.
And specifically women's sports. And so for those of y'all that know me, y'all know that I love women's basketball. I mean, I love all sports, but I love women's basketball the most.
Queen of Hoop, what?
And right. And so for me to have a place to be able to talk about it, and for my colleagues to completely understand why I want to talk about it, because, when I'm able to talk about women's basketball, I feel a purpose in my life. And so to have this platform, I'm just so thankful. Me
too. I'm glad I had the idea. I'm glad Carrie made us do it and put it out there in the universe. Because we wouldn't have been able to talk to people like Mel Farr Jr. Shout out to Scott Morganroth for that introduction. We wouldn't have been able to have Charlie on. We wouldn't have been able to have Ariana on. Melissa Strouder, the kicker you met at the combine. Coach Burrows, the coach. I forgot where you met.
I actually met her through somebody that was on the ASAP network. I think they're part of Sports Empire now, Conman. And I was just so thankful to have that introduction as well. She's somebody that was a semi-professional player, but she's also a coach. She's a youth AAU coach, and has continued her journey with that and has been really successful too. And since being on her show, her page has grown massively. So I'm not going to sit there and take credit for that. I'm just going to say I'm glad we got her early, because she's blowing up pretty well.
I was about to ask you, do you think we could get her to come back on?
Oh yeah, of course. I'll shoot her out an invite very soon. So, also, I remember when we first started the show, Deshaun Watson was such a huge topic at the time, because I don't know that he had been traded to Cleveland just yet, or he had just been traded or something along those lines.
He hadn't been traded yet.
So ends up going to Cleveland. The lawsuits were having to be dealt with the way they chose to deal with them. They settled with them. And that coverage, I felt like we can, because it was on several different weeks that we talked about it, because it was a developing story. And that was something that I felt that was very important too, because when it first came out, I was such a advocate for Deshaun, because the timing of it felt so weird. Yeah. That I was like, wow, this feels weird. He doesn't want to play for the Texans anymore, and this feels weird. This feels weird that this is coming out like that. And then when complainant after complainant started coming out, you couldn't ignore that.
And we were all defending him initially,
right?
And then when the attorney made his comment, everybody gets a happy ending. I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm out. Hands up.
Right.
The underlying timing still is very
definitely
suspicious to me.
For sure.
It needed to come out. But I do still feel like that the Texans did that, or the
Mhm.
owner did that out of spite as opposed to anything else. So
For sure.
it needed to come to light. It needed to be addressed. But I feel like this was made into a huge, can't say that word, sideshow that the Texans had brought to the public. That we weren't part of that circus. We should not have been a part of that circus. It should have been
Right.
resolved to the side. Because I feel like it was not the way that it should have been handled.
Right. And the
So-
Texans had something to do with it because
They
that is
facilitated it. They
several-
had people signing NDA orders. They facilitated it. They knew what was going
they
on
paid the
and they
girls to
allowed it.
come. That's
Right.
that's why several of the girls sued the Texans organization too.
Right, because they facilitated
They all
it. And
did.
so not that I think Deshaun shouldn't be held accountable, because he absolutely should, but I
Yes.
absolutely think that still the Texans should be held accountable for their role in that. So maybe hopefully one day that will happen and we will still continue that coverage. And then one of our other topics, and this one was something that was really heartfelt, because I want to say most of us were watching the game at the time because it was close to the playoffs, and it had huge implications for Carrie's team, because her team was going to be one of the ones affected about where were they going to play to make this game up. But when we were all watching was it Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football?
Sunday night.
Think
it was a Monday night because I actually went to bed early on that
whenever
game.
Damar Hamlin actually took a hit to the chest and his heart skipped a couple of beats, and we basically watched the young man die on the field and have to be resuscitated more than once. And so that was just an emotional topic for us, but also that was Monday night. So the next Tuesday, the very next day, we spent the entire show talking about Damar and player safety. And so
How
that is something
ironic that today it was released he has been cleared by all medical professions to start back. So I'm like, hey, what a neat full circle story to come around to on our year anniversary is that he has now been medically released to go back to football, which is pretty awesome.
I think that's awesome. I'm just so concerned. I'm still so concerned. Like, will a team pick him up after that? Because are you liable? I mean, I know
he's still with the Bills,
but I mean, I don't know. I mean, are they gonna keep him?
I think they'll keep him. I doubt he'll probably have as much playing time. Just for
what's the coach? Because right now names are oblivious to me. But
Brandon Beam is the GM, and I know that because he came from the Panthers. And the coach is how am I spacing on the coach?
I'm
spacing.
McDermott, thank you. McDermott was on. They did a press conference today from the Bills facility, and McDermott said he is physically ready to be on the field. We are going to be here and be for him spiritually, emotionally, and mentally as he progresses back to the game.
Right.
So it kind of set the umbrella that, yeah, he's been cleared, but I'm not sure that he's ready to face an actual game yet, which is quite understandable. And as a mother, I would be begging my child, let's just look at other alternatives.
The coaching.
How do you feel about coaching or
a specialty coach or something along those lines? Yeah. But I think because, us two, we're mothers, and I personally kind of felt like, and even though we have women that play football, it's not like that here in Texas. There's not a lot of female players. They're just now starting to be used as kickers here. And then I know at junior high level where Kennedy was going to school, they had a female quarterback for a while. And that just scares the life out of me. Like, I can't imagine, I don't know. I just can't imagine that as a parent.
Well, we saw a man die on a football field.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like, long story short, we saw another man save a man's life and resurrect him. And then just the fallout that happened afterwards against, I forgot the Browns player's name, who like defended himself against the tackle.
Oh, right.
The death
Yeah.
threats, that was just ridiculous. It's a game, people.
Yeah, no, that was awful.
We're gonna get mad
And
at
I know he felt terrible
he
about that. Yeah.
he spent a week at the hospital.
Right.
Like, he was by Damar's side. He felt bad.
Right. And then also, we had a ton of WNBA coverage, and I'm once again so thankful just to have that outlet, to be able to have another place to promote and just bring the positivity about women's basketball. And I'm going to continue to do that. So this week I got a chance to talk to our 2 top draft picks at the press conferences. Yesterday, I had a chance to talk to Lou Lopez Seneschal from UConn. We know what type of year she had, and then I talked to Maddie Seagrass, who was the scoring champion of the NCAA season this year. You guys, she averaged 29 points a game.
Yeah, that's
29
awesome.
a game. But on top of that, she also averaged 1.2 blocks and 1.2 steals. So you're talking about somebody that plays on both sides of the court. So just
awesome.
love that I'm going to be able to cover her this season and be able to do that here as well. Jen, you want to talk about some of the stuff that you have done?
Sure. I've gone to special shout out to my friend Fago Franklin, friend of the show as well. He runs and owns New Stitch Media. So under him, I was able to go to the ACC tip off. So I was able to interview both men's and women's head coaches and players for Media Day for the ACC. I went to the NASCAR Hall of Fame, induction ceremony. I went to the press conferences for the ACC championship game. And Coach Sweeney, if you are watching, I'm still mad at you for lying to me with my question, what your secret weapon was going to be. You should have told me you were going to trade out the quarterback in the first 5 minutes. I would not have told Coach Brown. I swear, go Heels. But
as we put it out there on social media,
I would have waited.
Right.
But I was also fortunate with Sideline Sports, our former network, and shout out to those guys because they did a lot for us too.
For sure, absolutely.
We're thankful to you guys. But they, along with Rudy Reyes, allowed me to go to the Super Bowl this past year. So lots more Super Bowl coverage to come. I kind of suck at building a YouTube page. So if anybody wants to help me out, hit your sister up. So it's just been exciting. I was able to meet and make a special connection with someone who should be in the Hall of Fame, Mr. Charlie Young. We just had just a good platonic soulmate connection almost. And he's just a good man. Like if we ever get a chance to meet him face to face, y'all will be able to feel the positivity radiating off him. I was also able to meet one of my a couple of my icons, like in Charlotte. There's 2 ladies who run 2 different social media platforms for the Panthers. I was able to meet both Sheena Quigg and the owner of Keep Blitzen, Vishni, and I was just so honored. I was also able to meet Brittany and Amber Phillips at Super Bowl, and Sheena, Amber, and Brittany are very good friends, and they have come together, and it's my hope to have those 3 ladies on either individually or all together one night, just because the support they give each other was awe-inspiring. And honestly, Brittany and Amber and Sheena kind of made the Super Bowl like magical almost. They got me into places. They got me into, like, they and Fago got me into parties. Like, I mean, they'll never know what they mean, but I kind of have a low self-esteem problem sometimes. And I'm like, oh, I want to text them, but I don't want to bother them. So it's nothing personal against y'all ladies. It's me not wanting to annoy you. But so many more people that we're reaching out to come on the show that I've met through all these different events. And then, of course, we have, our chick Candy. So,
oh, yes.
And we'll do another 1-year episode when we have the 1 year for our Chicks and Salsa. But right, it's just been so amazing this year. It's been a dream. It's truly been a dream.
Carrie, you want to talk to us about some of the topics that you brought to our attention, and then also your parade coverage? Because you know what? Your team's a Super Bowl champion again.
Woo! Go Chiefs!
So, I have to tell you that each time we came up with a topic, the fact that I was able to go deeper and get some true information and learn and find out more. So after every show, I'm like, man, that was a great topic. I really learned a lot. And then the very next week, you'd be like, okay, here's what we're doing. And as from a personal standpoint, I grew a lot, both in my confidence and my feeling like I belong somewhere. And that's a big paramount thing. I have learned that it is okay to be different and to promote what you love and not have to follow, we raise sheep, so I don't have to follow the sheep path. I can do my own thing. And that's been kind of a great thing that for me personally that's come out of this. So, that's the biggest thing. I really have enjoyed learning as much as I have about Title IX. I'm trying to think of some of the other things that we have.
We talked
covered.
about McNair, Snyder. I think our coverage of, just the NFL owners as a whole has been pretty eye-opening for some. And that was our friend Damon, I'm pretty sure, that said that. It's either Damon or Dom. Hey, guys.
Dom.
So if you are commenting, and if you're watching the show from one of the groups like the Sip Off or the Three Chicks, for some reason when you comment and you're in the group and you're watching the feed there, it doesn't show your name. I did think it was you, Damon. I knew it was. It just doesn't show. But if you go to one of our personal Facebooks and you click on that and you comment on that, or on the YouTube or on Twitter, it'll show your name. Just for some reason on the Facebook groups, when you comment and it's the feed there, it just doesn't show your name. So sorry about that, guys.
I don't know what's going on? We also talked a lot about NIL and how that's impacted college sports, and how we were all kind of on the fence about how it's starting to possibly seep down into high school sports.
Right. Yeah. It is.
And then
we've seen several, and then is it Michael Jordan's daughter that is taking over?
Mm-hmm.
Who was it? Was Nike representative for the NIL or in charge of the NIL program with Nike?
Oh, that's
and
cool.
how that's evolving.
You know what? There would be no one better than her to do that, actually.
Right. And I love what she had to say this week.
The sports acumen.
Right. So those of y'all watching, what was y'all's favorite topics that we talked about over this last year? Once again, we just appreciate you guys commenting and sharing and showing up every Tuesday that we're here. Some Tuesdays we're not here. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Life gets in the way. And we're lucky enough that we have another sister, a part of our spinoff show, and she fills in for us a lot of times. And then sometimes we just take a little bit of time off because no matter how much we love getting on here and bringing you guys sports news, we also got to live our lives. So, just one of those that we appreciate y'all coming back the very next week if we didn't happen to come that Tuesday.
Yeah.
I don't know about you all. Do you see that when it is a woman making moves or news in any of the sports, that it is now jumps out at you more so than it did a year ago? Because I just sitting here reflecting of the year, Jalen Hurts' agent is a female, is a lady,
right?
And he is now
his entire team.
Yeah, I've actually known that one for a while.
Well, yeah, no, I'm just
all his lawyers, his agents, everybody on his team is women, and just super inspiring. It does stick out.
This week he became the highest paid NFL player in the yearly, based on the yearly income, and that was driven by his team of women that lead his, that protect him. And I'm thinking again, how ironic that it's on our week of our anniversary that another woman has hit a pinnacle in sports that is pretty impressive.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely so. That is a very nice coincidence. And if there is any topics that you guys want us to talk about, feel free to message us or comment in the group. We would love to talk about what y'all want to talk about. Most recently, the coverage of the track start at Utah, that was something that really stuck out to me as well.
Brittany covering Brittany Griner and her.
Oh yeah, that was super important to me as well. Just, no matter how you felt about it, it was still news. And just being able to have a place to be able to talk about it and not immediately be thrown into the negative parts of women's basketball. So, because that's what it always comes down to. It's always the negativity that surrounds women's basketball. And for some reason, it is what it is. But hey, Candy, we are glad to have you a part of our show. And we will be doing a 1-year anniversary for Chicks and Salsa as well. Just super thankful that you are a part of it. And I'm trying to think about what my favorite happy topic was.
Oh, you know what mine was? I've got to look up her name. It was the female skier that's got that great relationship with her dad. Not Lindsey Vonn.
Oh, okay.
I'm Googling it right now with
I would probably say when Brittany got out, that was one of my favorite happy topics because we didn't have to sit there and dwell on the negative parts of it. We could just talk about how great it is that she was home and that she was out. So looking so forward to the season. I'm so ready for the WNBA season.
I'm excited. And I'll be really honest, I've learned a lot more about, because I went looking, since you were unable to be on the show with us about the WNA draft, I went looking and researching because someone had to be able to speak a little bit about it, not to your level, but be able to cover your spot, kind of. And I was incredibly disappointed to find out that, I don't know if disappointed or shocked, probably shocked, that the women are required to wait till 22, where the men get to enter in the 19. And it did kind of spark some debate, which I appreciate. I even posed a question on my personal page, found some interesting takes on that. So I think that's kind of one that I've really been is eye-opening and thought-provoking as far as the recent topics. We've had some really good ones, but that one's my most recent, and it still kind of just sits at the back of my head, and I turn it over in my brain as I'm thinking about the different angles.
We definitely will have to jump into that topic because there are so many different things about it. The fact that, they can do the one and done, and I'm not the biggest fan of the one and done. So I don't think necessarily doing exactly what the guys do is the solution to this, but I definitely don't think it's fair that they got to wait till they're 22 to go into the draft. And then if they're if they're international, they have to be 21. They can be 20 by the time they're drafted, but by the time the season starts, they have to be 21.
Yeah, and I was
just very intriguing.
And and if you're international, you start playing professionally usually at like 15 or 16 years old. So you've been playing professionally by 5 years already by the time you're allowed to be drafted by the WNBA. Like, I definitely think that, what I do like about women college basketball players is that a lot of them get their degrees because life after basketball is real. Life after sports is real. And so being able to get your degree, that's something that I appreciate. But, just a personal opinion, I think baseball has it right. You either go professional right out of high school or you go to college for 4 years. And so to me, I think that's right because then you're not, the college gets what they need out of it as well. You get some college and then, and then you're able to move on. Or if you're at that level, then you should have been able to go pro at that age, at that right out of high school. So I'm
wondering, I sit here and I wonder who gets most disserviced by that. Is it the female? Is it the women that missed out those 3 years of potential playing? Or is it the men that get shortchanged because they've been dangled the golden egg of money? This was before the NIL, by the way, but they're trying to get into a situation where they can be helpful to their family or for whatever reason, or the money is impressive. are they shortchanged because they don't have to have that 4 years of college, which is a lot of dedication. I mean, to be a student and a full-time athlete at that level, that puts a lot on them. And the women are coming out very resilient. And so, you sit there and you think, who's being detrimented the most? And kind of on the fence on that.
And then the NIL changes everything. You know what I mean? Like, because now you have a chance to make money while you're in college, and you don't necessarily feel and it's most times in some areas we see that they're probably going to make more money with their NIL deals than say professional women's basketball. There are a lot of young ladies that have NIL deals that are worth more than what their salary would be playing in the WNBA. Mm-hmm. But then you also have ones that are able to make money. And it's not necessarily like, oh, I'm risking my health by going and playing college ball,
Right. Unless you're a certain female basketball player at UNC. I'm just saying. I don't even know what girl it was. But just tossing that out there.
A mess. Well, that is
it was Chloe Kim. She was the Olympics. Right. Yeah, like I was just I'm so close to my dad that I was touched by that story. Okay, sorry.
Well, I think that's the show for us. We're about a little over 30 minutes now, and we've gone over some of our big topics. Once again, we just want to thank everybody for watching and supporting us. I don't know that a year ago I would believe that we would have a spinoff and we would be a fully independent show. Like it feels like a huge accomplishment. Right. Yeah.
Or it feels like so much as we've gone to.
Right. But credentialed in so many places. Yeah.
Like we have amazing opportunities in front of us, girls. Like
right.
just
going to put it out there. I'm going to the draft as a fan this year because some things kind of didn't pan out that I thought were going to, but that is okay as well because it gives. I would love to be credentialed to be pressed. But still, a year ago, I would not have been putting myself in this situation. So, there's lots of positives.
Sometimes I just want to watch the event instead of having to work it. So, like, I'm going to the WNBA All-Star game, but I'm going to work it. Of course, I'm going to work it. But it would be kind of fun just to go as a fan to. Right. But once again, just thank you guys so much for supporting the show. If there's ever any topics that y'all want to talk about, we want to talk about them with you. So let us know, and we will be back next Tuesday. We will be doing Chicks and Salsa because it would be the last Tuesday of the month.
Leah, if you're watching, girlfriend, you tossed us some really good ideas. Toss us some more. I know you're busy. And if anybody gets a chance, watch the Daily Dose of Addie because her kid, she and Courtney's daughter, is adorable. Just saying. Awesome. Thank you guys for everything. Thanks, we love you.
Thank you for being with us for this year. And
yes, thank you.
Latch on and hang on because we're going places.
We are. Be prepared. We got some crazy people coming on board soon.